Good morning and welcome back to Planet Althistory. Today we are going to discuss what if the Indo-Pakistani War had gone nuclear. India and Pakistan are known to have bad relations, and can one blame them? It would be easy to just support one side, yes, but both sides committed critical mistakes, which leaves them in the situation where they are as of now. Before discussing these mistakes, let's first talk about India and Pakistan. The British Raj, also known as Crown Rule in India, encompassed the territories of today's India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and even Myanmar. After World War II, the British Raj wanted independence, and several factions prior already wanted autonomy or independence. During World War II, one guy named Bose, for instance, was supported by the Axis powers, and he even shortly ruled over the Nicobar Islands. But before the Japanese were defeated, Bose's plane crashed and he died. Revolts claiming independence or even autonomy happened very frequently in India. Another important figure is, of course, Gandhi, who wanted to achieve the independence of a united India. But the Muslim League under Muhammad Jinnah wanted an independent Muslim state. Later on, the leader of the Indian Congress, Nehru, agreed to the demands of Jinnah, while wanting to keep Pakistan as small as possible. Gandhi, of course, he was very devastated, and, well, a terrible population exchange took place, one of the most terrible ones in all of history, which left many people dead and tore families apart. Gandhi was assassinated in 1948 by an Hindu extremist because he thought that Gandhi was too supportive of Pakistan and the Muslims in India. As a result, post-British Raj became a total mess, with people moving around, territories being split, people getting killed, and the whole atmosphere was still very bad, as it was just few years after World War II. Later on, India annexed Hyderabad, Goa, and Sikkim, while Pakistan had a civil war in which Bangladesh declared independence in 1971. In between 1947 and 1999, India and Pakistan, they had 4 full-blown wars. Moreover, India and Pakistan, they are known to have nuclear bombs, which haven't been used against each other yet. But what if all of that changed? What if the Indo-Pakistani War had gone nuclear? Let's discuss the nuclear capacities of India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan have nowadays almost the same number of official nuclear bombs. It's of course possible that both states have more nuclear weapons. Around 150 weapons exist on both sides. Pakistan detonated 5 nuclear bombs in 1998, and the operation was called Chagatai 1, because the detonation happened in the Chagatai district. A second operation happened immediately 2 days afterwards, called Chagatai 2. Pakistan claimed that their nuclear security was the highest in the world. The confidence seemed to be very high, although many foreign experts, they disagreed with Pakistani claims. As for India in 1999, it was claimed that India had enough resources for 1,000 nuclear bombs. India's first nuclear bomb was tested in 1974, codenamed Operation Pokhran 1, and the Operation Pokhran 2 happened 24 years later in 1998. In 1999, India had the Prithvi 1 and 2 missiles, which had a range of 150 kilometers and 250 kilometers until 350 kilometers respectively. Agni 1 was tested before its entry in service in 2004. This means it already existed around 1999. The range is 700 kilometers and it could transport almost 1,000 kilograms. And with that said, India and Pakistan had a war in 1999, the so-called Kargil War, which India won. 500 soldiers, they were killed on the Indian side, and between 400 to 4,000 Pakistani soldiers, they were killed. Let's just say that in that year, in 1999, the war would somehow escalate. Most people could say that India might just invade Pakistan and overrun them, but let's not forget that it isn't that easy at all for India. And India also has China on their border, and China wants to correct certain borders with India. And then there is the issue with geography. Pakistan is not just a flat country that you can overrun easily, like Poland, for instance. No, Pakistan is very mountainous, and there is also a big desert. The only area that could serve as an opening would be around Lahore or Amritsar, an Indian city. India does have a potential threat with China, while Pakistan has a potential, not really a threat, but danger coming from Afghanistan, and even danger from within. Pakistan is known to be more unstable as compared to India. However, Afghanistan was having its own civil war at that time, and as a result, Afghanistan would not be in the capacity to invade Pakistan. The only danger that could happen would be some terrorist attacks. Due to the fact that Pakistan is still a Muslim country and at war with India, in this alternate timeline, most Islamist terrorist organizations, they would then declare a holy war against India and probably bomb a few cities and make a few more terrorist attacks. What's up, guys? Sorry for the little interruption, but I'm sure you have noticed that on my channel I have many videos that are scheduled for like 1 week, 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks. If you are really impatient, if you can really not hold yourself, and if you really must see these videos, please subscribe on my Patreon. There are various options which you can take. I'm sure you will find the most adequate option for yourself. And also please go down, check the links below for my Facebook page and also for my TikTok as well as for my Twitter account. And now let's go back to the alternate history video. Nuclear weapons won't be used immediately, but in the cocktail of mountainous terrains, heat in the desert, some Pakistani victories, terrorist attacks in India and desperation, India may be tempted to use stronger weapons, chemical weapons, and even then go for nuclear weapons, if they had extensive knowledge of a huge number of troops and whatnot. Not big bombs would be used, of course, as it could affect India as well. Pakistan would send a response in an area with many Indian troops and not many civilians at first. At this point, a few more nukes would then be exchanged, but eventually India would beat Pakistan with very huge losses, and Pakistan would be the real loser in here, giving up territories. The state may even have broken apart, a sick population, and it's possible that even Islam wouldn't be able to hold the population together in Pakistan. The Afghan civil war could then spill over to Pakistan, and we could see an incredible mess happening. Indian troops might intervene, and even other countries might want to go there. India would be seen as responsible for that. The international community would be very shocked, decide sanctions against India, and these sanctions, they would hit India very hard. And China may even get bold and attack India as well. Seeing India's nuclear capacities as far weaker, as well as India's diplomatic status worsening, a pariah state, this would give China enough confidence to attack India, or at least correct the borders. India in that case would be more open to agree for some negotiations, and they got their most important issues solved, and it's possible that clashes would happen, but China would get their demands met, leading to a calmer situation on the Himalaya. Only Russia would remain the only somewhat ally to India, if at all, while the US would favor the Chinese in this timeline. India and Pakistan would have broken a big taboo using nuclear bombs during a conventional war. The reaction would be that nuclear weapons would be seen in a more negative light as compared to OTL. The destruction of nuclear bombs could be promoted and accelerated, and any fear whatsoever in regards to nuclear bombs or nuclear capacities would be taken much more seriously. Terrorism in this timeline would focus around India and not the US. This means that we won't see a 9/11. For some years, the world would indeed be very chaotic, and a lot of food supplies could be bad, and there would be inflation, more deaths, and people dying from the radiation. We wouldn't get a nuclear winter, but the globe could cool off for a little bit. which could lead to an economic crisis, humanitarian apocalypse in Afghanistan and Pakistan, a global depression, and food as well as health crisis. Pacifism would become more relevant in this timeline than environmentalism. Instead of the Afghanistan or Iraq invasion, the Iran invasion would happen in this timeline. And this is mainly because of the public fear of nuclear bombs or nuclear capacity. And as compared to OTL, the US would be more motivated to actually intervene in Iran with their allies, and they would try to get rid of these capacities and also of the Islamist government that would rule over there. But the fights, they would be very hard and very complicated. And soon enough, the crisis from Afghanistan and Pakistan, they could then expand to Iran as well. And with India being a pariah state, China still being communist, and the US not being able to take Iran, the world would in that timeline face hardships unknown to our timeline. And that's where we leave it for now.
That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, support me also on Patreon, and join my forum, forum.planetalthistory.ga. Until next time on Planet Alt History.